Assalamu alaikum. Okay guys, I know everyone love Palestine. Like I and my brother did. Please just listen carefully, the truth that my brother want to tell.
One day, this guy, Mohammed, he's working the food cart. And then this guy shows up causing problems. Now let's call him Pops. Now Mohammed, he's a Muslim. And Pops, he really doesn't like that.
Your daughter like Muhammad did? The Holy Quran that some people use as a toilet? That's why you're selling food in a food cart, because you're ignorant.
Now Mohammed and the guys who work at the food cart, they report Pops to the police. But police don't do anything because, it's New York. So Mohammed's coworker, Sam, he starts recording these interactions. And somehow, those videos make their way over to this woman, Layla. Now Layla's an activist, and she posts this on her Twitter asking people to identify Pops. And that is where this TikToker sees it. Tizzy is huge on TikTok, and he's sort of an activist himself. And this is kinda what he does. He identifies people who are acting like a jerk in a video. So, does Tizzy identify who Pops is?
Yes, I do, and I don't think you're prepared.
Now, right as Tizzy is uploading this TikTok identifying who Pops is, a second and third video drops of Pops harassing Mohammed and Sam.
It's not my fault that you pray to a criminal. You're a terrorist.
So, who exactly is Pops? Well,
I spent 2 years in the White House in the national security staff.
Yeah, dude was a diplomat. He worked for the W. Bush and the Obama administrations. He was also the deputy director of the State Department's Office of Israel and Palestinian Affairs. What the... So of course, with this new revelation, these videos are blowing up all over Twitter and TikTok. And then the press picks it up and they start reaching out to Pops and he's like giving interviews. He of course tells the story very differently.
This whole thing started when I innocently asked him if he was Egyptian and he said yes.
That same day, the lobbying firm that he works with, they see all the news and they see all the videos. Not only do they suddenly drop him in a Twitter post, but the president of the company, who I guess is a lawyer, he offered to represent the food vendors pro bono if they want to bring a harassment lawsuit. And then that becomes a news story. And at this point, all of this news is everywhere. And suddenly there's a lot of public pressure. And then I assume that the police finally decide like, okay, Pops definitely committed a crime, and then they go and arrest him.
What do you want to say to the Muslim community about your remarks, Stuart?
And he gets charged with aggravated harassment, a hate crime, and stalking. Now as for the food cart guys, a GoFundMe was set up and they raised $35,000 for them. And because of all this attention, they now have a ton of business. Shout out to New York.
Guys, today's a big day because my brother Mark is converting. How do you feel?
Good.
How do you feel?
I'm happy to be here.
We're actually so gassed.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمد رسول الله.
Mark is officially a brother of Islam.
Assalamu alaikum people, I hope you're all well. So my name is Isa and I'm a Riva, alhamdulillah, and I'm just going to be telling you a little bit about my reversion. So going back 3-4 years ago, I was living quite a haram lifestyle, making haram money, doing haram things, and growing up I always had the belief in God, but I never really followed a religion. My family isn't that religious, so basically I got sent to a care home due to the way I was living my life and stuff like that. And while I was in the care home, I just was seeking God. Like I was like, surely like I said, I always believed in God, so I was just seeking God. I started to research Christianity because that's the only really religion I kind of knew about. Obviously I knew about other religions, but I didn't really think anything of them. Started researching Christianity, and it just didn't make much sense to me. Like, even just for looking for a Bible, I looked to buy a Bible, and it came up with all these different versions of Bibles, and it really confused me. And then I started seeing Islamic content on my Instagram and TikTok feed and stuff, and I just got connected with that. And then obviously, like I said, I was in care. I had quite a few Christian and Muslim carers around me too, so I started asking them questions about their faiths. And the Christians that answered, much respect to them as well, by the way, it just didn't really make much sense to me. But anytime I asked the Muslims, it made a lot of sense to me. And then I was just researching the religion for maybe a year and a half. And then I took the Shahada on the 7th of October, alhamdulillah. It's the best day of my life.
500 years ago, an Islamic scholar was forced to leave his homeland. Arabic books had been banned, so before he left, he hid 3 of them in the wall of his house, hoping that he could return to see them one day. Muhammad al-Yahya was the Imam of Kuta Mosque in Malaga, Spain in the late 1400s. He was a scholar and scribe who worked across Granada during the Nasrid period, where Arab sultans ruled southern Spain for 2 centuries. In 1490, he moved to the tiny Spanish village of Kuta, where he recorded his daily life in books, including the 1492 conquest of Granada. Over the years that followed, Islam was gradually outlawed, and Muslims were eventually forced to either convert or leave Spain. As Arabic books had also been banned, al-Yahya didn't want to risk losing his books forever, and so, in the hope that he may one day return, he took 3 of these, 2 manuscripts of his own composition and an Almohad Quran, and hid them in the walls of his house, protected by straw. He never returned, but he did succeed in saving the books. They remained in that wall in his house for 500 years, and we know this because 20 years ago, while workers were renovating that very house, they found, hidden within its walls, the 3 books left by Muhammad al-Yahya.
I was in Indonesia recently, and I made mention of a point of a magician, a lady from Russia. In an interview online that is there, she was asked, when you're doing your magic and when you're trying to affect people with all types of magic, are there any people that you find it difficult to actually affect? She says, yes, the Muslims. The practicing Muslims who pray 5 times a day. These are the words of a non-Muslim. Go and check it out. It's there. Why? She explains that when they pray, there is a strength. And there is like a dome around them. You just can't get through. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Wallahi, these are non-Muslims telling you. And you think that this Quran we have been blessed with is something minor. It is the most amazing gift that you have. But you don't do qadr of it. You don't appreciate it. Sometimes you have a spouse, a husband or a wife, the best that you could ever have had. But because you don't appreciate them, you lose them. It happens. When you've lost them, you say, oh, you know what? I lost. Too late.